It is Friday, September 8th. Let's talk PlayStation. Just a little FYI, unfortunately this is going to be another scenario where I'm going to be very busy the next few days, so I kind of have to record this episode early. So this is actually being filmed on the 6th. This will still get uploaded on Friday the 8th. So just another warning, if some sort of major PlayStation announcement comes up during Thursday or early Friday, and if I'm not talking about it, that's why. We will definitely cover it the next episode after that. This also, unfortunately, means that because I'm doing it so early, that there's really not a whole lot of news stories to discuss. We actually only have 2 on the docket right now. But one of them, the headline news story, I'm sure I'll talk about for much longer than I need to, because, you know, that's just very easy for me. But anyway, let's get right into it, okay? So, the first one's really quick, actually. There's just new Dualshock 4 colors, but they're actually really awesome. So, these are the retro-style, sort of translucent colors. Kind of takes you back to the PS1, the PS2, where you can see inside of the Dualshock. There's going to be crystal blue, red, and just a regular sort of crystal, you know, it's kind of that frosted white, you know what I mean? But you can still look into it clearly. These things look really cool. You know, for the longest time, I've actually been very good about not buying extra controllers that I don't need just for some sort of useless colorway that I don't need it, right? I've been very good about that. Unfortunately, I think this is where they got me. I don't think I can hold off on getting the blue one, so I think I'm gonna have to get it. But yes, these things are going to be available in North America later this month. If you're in Europe, you'll be able to get it in October. Keep in mind, in North America at least, these are going to be exclusive to certain retailers. So the blue one's going to be available at Walmart, the red one's going to be at Best Buy, and the crystal one's going to be at GameStop only, EB Games if you're in Canada. So just keep that in mind. Our final news story is not really a news story, but I felt like it was certainly an interesting talking point now that I sort of saw this. So anyway, earlier this week, Wedbush Morgan Security, Michael Pachter, of course, replied to somebody on Twitter. Somebody asked him if the Xbox One X is going to outsell the PS4 Pro, and he responded by saying, PS4 Pro, yes, but not the PS4. And what he means by that is comparing purely the Xbox One X to the PS4 Pro, and not overall hardware sales of Xbox One versus PS4, which I think at this point, everything all said and done, most people can agree. Microsoft's very far behind. Sony's momentum isn't really slowing down. The PlayStation 4 is selling phenomenally well. They have all this software backing them. Going into the holiday, going into 2018, they're doing really well. PS4 overall, I don't see losing any sort of momentum to X1 in the slightest right now. Certainly, it could still change. I will always say that. There's been some more dire situations where the tables have turned a la the last generation. But, well, keep in mind, last generation, Sony actually was gaining, you know, was at some point finally outselling Xbox 360, and that's how they caught up. But just Microsoft is in no way. They're just getting beat 3-1 in some territories. Anyway, besides the point, if we're going to look at just the upcoming launch of Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro currently, how's that going to do? Now, here's the little scenario I'd like to at least propose real quick. In regards to the tweets, Michael Pachter doesn't say anything regarding cumulative sales or by region or anything like that. So it's really sort of an open-ended question as to what he means by that. But that's the point I'd like to get at here. How will the Xbox One X actually do on the market compared to the PlayStation 4 Pro? Because what we have right now is the data that Sony's given us, which is not really that much data. The only thing they've really told us is that PS4 Pro has sold a lot better than they thought they would. And that's essentially it. We know that, and we also know that PS4 Pro takes substantially less sales than the regular baseline PS4, which was expected. It's a premium system. You don't have to buy it. Most people are going with the baseline PS4, so it's just something that is supposed to live comfortably next to the PS4. And that will be the same scenario with the Xbox One. More likely, the X1X is going to be the lower volume system, but it's going to sell. Now, it's just a matter of how much will it sell. And the unfortunate reality of this question is that we're probably never going to get that answer, purely because as of right now, Sony has not released any specific PS4 Pro information, like actual hard numbers to look at. The only thing that they've sort of been telling us is like 1 out of every, you know, PS4 purchases, which I believe it was 1 in 5 if we talked about that recently. God, we did talk about that recently. What was the number? I don't remember offhand, but it was something like that, basically, where every so often a PS4 sale, one of them is actually a Pro sale. And it was just more than Sony was expecting. You got to figure this is going to be the same scenario for Microsoft. What's interesting is that I think for the Microsoft side of things, you're going to have a situation where it's a lot more people upgrading. I think way more than the PS4. Because if you look at the Sony side of things, Sony is the market leader right now. So there are a lot of people that have PS4s and they're just enjoying PS4 as is. Maybe they're more casual consumers that maybe buy 1 or 2, software titles a year. Hardcore PlayStation users that buy a bunch of, PlayStation exclusives and a lot of software throughout the year. Yeah, those people are the more likely to subscribe. They're also the more likely to have a Plus membership, the more likely to own a PlayStation VR. Those people are sort of a given. But because you have those people and the vast majority of other gamers out there that are into consoles, because keep in mind, this is one big pool that we're talking about here, that's a thing where likely, yeah, people are upgrading to PS4 Pro, but on the Microsoft side of things, it's a lesser market share. A lot of people that are playing on Xbox are a lot more dedicated to that platform. So you might have a sort of a thing where a lot of Xbox One sales are actually a lot of X1X sales are actually going to be translated from previous Xbox One owners, because those people just live and thrive in that ecosystem and they really enjoy it. It's sort of a weird thing. You wouldn't really expect somebody's first Xbox to be, or if their first Xbox One to be a $500 Xbox One X in the middle of the generation, where they likely already have a software library either on PS4 or maybe they're a PC gamer and they just don't have a console. Like that, maybe that might be a more ideal scenario, right? Where somebody owns a PC and they're a PC gamer, but fuck it, that'll be the console again, an Xbox One X. Why not, right? But then to understand what will sell more than the other, that's like the question we're probably not gonna, we won't get an answer to, because Sony's not gonna divulge numbers and Microsoft hasn't divulged numbers for Xbox One in a long time, and they don't really like divulging details about it because they know they're losing. The only time, if they win a month, they'll talk about it. If they have good pre-orders, they'll talk about it. If they have good shipments for a game, they'll talk about it. Just recently, like with Xbox One X's pre-orders, they were very quick to mention it's the fastest pre-ordered system in Xbox history, which I think Michael Pachter also mentioned this. I remember reading this too. He said, well, yeah, of course it's the most pre-ordered system because you only had the original Xbox, which at the time didn't do nearly as well. The Xbox 360, sure, but still back then in 2005, you weren't really pre-ordering systems. You were waiting outside of stores for them. So, of course, the Xbox One X is the most pre-ordered hardware in Xbox history. But it's you can't really gauge it, right? It's hard to tell. I think if you really want to somehow answer this question, lifetime sales, I'm thinking no, it won't outsell PS4 Pro this coming holiday. Yeah, it probably will outsell PS4 Pro. In the US, I think there's actually a very good case that lifetime sales of the X1X will outsell PS4 Pro. Lifetime sales there, but not worldwide. It's just like it's kind of too open-ended to really discuss. But that's at least what I would say. Lifetime, it's not going to outsell PS4 Pro. It's got a chance in the US this holiday season. I'm sure it could easily do it. To be honest, I think because again, PS4 is in that sort of region of like. Most consumers are choosing PlayStation 4. That means most people want that. Most consumers are an entry point, so they're not going to spend $400. They're going to spend, the cheapest amount, which is going to be a regular PlayStation 4. Especially because you're going to have a lot of good retailer deals, and even deals from Sony themselves, where it's like, hey, buy a PS4 Slim, mind you. You're going to get a game, you're going to get a controller, you're going to get this and that. There's going to be tons of stuff going on for it, especially come this holiday. So I think that's going to be the case there. Michael Pachter does actually say, though, he expects about 20% volume sales of like total Xbox One sales will end up being Xbox One X, which at the very least sounds pretty much head on with what Sony's doing right now. I just think the real sort of logical conclusion I would draw is that I would assume a large margin, not a large margin, it's still going to be the minority, but a lot of current owners of X1 are going to go to an X1X, especially considering it's a more substantial leap for them. That's another thing, too. If you're on a PS4, there's really... I mean, on both spectrums, there's no need to do it, but certainly you can make a better case for going to an X1X than to, say, a PS4 to a PS4 Pro. Either way, it'll be interesting to see how the holidays play out, because, yeah, Sony is going to have a lot of deals on like, a base PS4. PlayStation VR might have 1 or 2 extra games going for it or something, and they just recently, cut the price of that and offered a better core bundle. With X1X launching so close to the holidays, I'd be surprised to see any sort of special deal going on there, but I'm sure Microsoft will be very aggressive with the X1S. All around, I think it's actually a good time. Going into the holidays, it's probably a good time to buy a console no matter which side you're going for, or even a Switch, because Switch is going to have some great software coming up soon. Mario Odyssey. you can't really go wrong. Those are some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. Now, unfortunately, because of what I just explained earlier, I'm going to be very busy this weekend. I'm not going to have time to do this Let's Play, which sucks. I really did not want to skip 2 weeks. But next week. I already have some games picked out, I guess, for the poll, so there's no point in putting it up now, though. Unless, I don't know, did you want like a week-long poll? I usually make them 24 hours, but if I make it a week long, it's like there's going to get 1 or 2 votes trickled in for the remaining 6 days that it's up, so it's really pointless. But yeah, next week for sure. So thank you all for sticking, all 10 of you that watch Let's Plays, thank you for holding out. I know it's killing you on the inside. It's not, but thanks anyway. So that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecky. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I will see you guys next Friday.